No, I haven't.
Yeah, I did one online, which sucked.
Okay, well, first off, I won the first two. Very surprising. Didn't expect myself to win. And then I lost pretty badly. It was brutal. And we're gonna, can you pull up Daniel? I got whoever to pull up on Instagram to show you who I lost to, because I thought of so many jokes afterwards, but in the moment I just completely crashed.
Well, how long did he give you the name beforehand? Do you have like a week? Or?
About 3 minutes. You get it about 3 minutes beforehand.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's good. So that really causes you to like think of something.
Yeah.
And have all this.
Look up Daniel Grinnell comedy. Daniel Grinnell.
That's a tough last name.
Yeah. This isn't him. This just he has a picture of him. Go down to him. This dude killed though. That's a picture of him right there, top left corner. He had very awkward energy.
Okay.
And
that's good for roasting.
And he just destroyed everyone.
Oh man. Maybe he'll be okay then, despite his last name.
Yeah.
I would recommend probably a stage name in the near future for
Just
him.
something, yeah.
Instead of the Grinnell.
Yeah.
You don't think that's a good one?
What were your disses? What were your roasts?
Yeah.
I said he had maternity pants because it looked like he did have maternity pants. I said
it, different pants, or that was those pants?
No, those pants. Those just looked like
Those are
stretchy
just
jeans.
jeans.
Those were
are-
one of the jokes that didn't bother.
Those are
me.
Levi's. I'm
We
wearing
were
those
3
jeans
jokes in,
right
and
now.
I just had nothing for him. I said he had old white man energy because he had his glasses on his shirt, and he was just very quiet and somber.
Did he have the rope that goes behind the glasses so he doesn't lose
Oh
them?
yeah.
Sadly, he did not. I think the joke would have worked better.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I did. I had to. This is something I wanted to talk about, though. I had to go against 2 African American guys, and because of I was so worried about being racist the entire time, because the entire purpose of it was to tell jokes about what the other person looked like.
Yeah.
So I had this I had to ride a weird line, but it worked out well. Do you guys know Cedric? I think Griffin. He was at Stretch Bar.
He was at Stretch and kind of bombed.
He was a bigger guy. He yells. So fucking funny. But me and him went at it, and he should have beat me. But at one point, I ran out of jokes, and I was looking at him, and he had a watch on. So I was like, "Oh, what brand is your watch supposed to be?"
Good.
And that got him, and I won on that.
That's good.
Yeah. It was a fun time though, but I lost to this guy, and he deserved to win. The crowd loved him.
Good for him.
It was in Lake Villa, Illinois, which is like a strange suburb of Chicago that's like an hour out.
Oh, damn.
What kind of towns did you guys grow up in?
Oh, thanks. Medium city.
Okay.
I'm from Raleigh.
Okay, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Okay.
So it's a metro area, about 1 million people. So it felt metropolitan. But also like you know that we were in North Carolina was very like that always knocked you down a few pegs when you're like, I'm from a city, but it's North Carolina.
Was it like southern rural, or was it?
No.
Did you feel that vibe? Like, why North Carolina? Why were we like, oh, it took it down? I love North Carolina.
Oh, well, I mean, I do too. Like, as I look back on the experience, I do too. No, just because it's still small town feeling, and you're reminded, like, if you drive 20 minutes outside of Raleigh or a suburb of Raleigh, it's all of a sudden cornfields and soy fields and pig fields. So that sort of helps you to keep things in perspective.
This place was kind of like that, where it was like the edge of civilization, where it had some city, and I feel like it breeds such a interesting type of person.
That makes sense.
Because I grew up in like a place called Rochester Hills, which is like a suburb of Detroit, and it's like if you go farther, it's just woods.
Yeah.
But then there's just like this little town area, and everybody has this like really grungy. At least all the teenagers get so angsty because they're just bored all of the time.
Sure, yeah.
So they're all into like really emo stuff or like rap music.
Everyone smokes cigarettes. It's,
yeah. So it was that vibe was the show, and I was like, you know what, I appreciate this.
Like this feels like home.
As a teenager, I'm like, I couldn't stand this. This is the worst thing in the world. But then you leave and you come back and you're like, this is actually beautiful.
Yeah, and safe place to raise kids.
Exactly.
That's a weird thought that I'm already having about my hometown is, it would be okay to raise a family here. Ugh.
Ideal.
Do you look back at people who still live in your hometown and wonder what it would be like if you still lived there? Like, do you think about what could have been?
I mean, not so. Before I forget, I want to talk a little bit about the roast I did online. The person I was against was transgender, so I get what you're
Did you go for that at all, or did you say any other jokes?
I just did roasts about Joe Biden. Like, I would start with her, but then the punchline would be about Joe Biden, because I was like, this is a touchy subject, and I should not be the one.
How did you jump to Joe?
Naturally. It was like something about Joe Biden even wouldn't want to molest her, I think is what she was going by.
Okay, so it was
and then eventually, because I was like, there's no way this is going to work out for me.
Yeah,
if I go hard on this. So.
Did you win?
No, the thing, it was awkward because it was like kind of amateur people, but then like they would do roasts and just a lot of them was cringy, and then no one would laugh, and I would be like, I want to leave here.
Okay,
this is uncomfortable.
How many people were in it?
It was like 8 people. It was like he posted on Facebook, so hopefully he doesn't like get mad. But yeah, it was it was just strange. I'm not much of like a roast person. I just like I mainly did it just so people could like roast the shit out of me, and I could just feel it and be like, okay.
Were there any good roasts against you that you remember?
Yeah, one of them was like about me being ginger. I don't remember it, but another one was like, you're like the French because your beard is retreating from your face. That was one of them. I was like, that's just like a poem. Like, I don't even feel bad about that. I was writing it down, and I was like, I want to get that tattooed. That's pretty sweet.
I'm that narcissistic that I don't remember any of the jokes that people said.
Yeah, I could feel it.
So I was just thinking about myself the whole time, where I was just worried about what I was going to say back to them. And they were all like, "Oh, you're tall and white." And I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah. What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I got to make this face to the crowd.
You guys hear this? Me?
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
What about when the guy said I looked like? He kept saying I looked like Mark Zuckerberg. And I'm like, I don't even look like Mark Zuckerberg at all.
No.
But I mean, it happens, Speaking of Joe Biden, you guys see Joe Biden fall 3 times.
Yeah.
I thought that was the fun. He fell the first time, and then he ran faster up. He started sprinting, and then he just kept falling. That was so funny. I was laughing so hard.
My favorite part about that was I saw a tweet that was like, Joe Biden fell 3 times. Jesus fell 3 times. Joe Biden is carrying the weight of the cross on his shoulders and is standing up. I loved that.
When there was a YouTube comment. Sorry, you were saying.
I was just gonna. When did Jesus fall?
Like when he was carrying the cross.
Wow.
Fuck it. You're like, right. Loser.
Yeah. Mr. Tough Guy.
I did not read my Bible.
Yeah. Because then he had whatever, I don't remember his name, and he deserves more credit. But the guy who stopped and was like, I will help you. And then Jesus was like, no, I don't know the actual story.
This is a Sparks Note version of the story.
This is when I went to church, they had like a kids room where they would take the kids for like 45 minutes during the actual service.
They had a pop-up book of what happened.
Oh, yeah.
It was the cartoon version.
Jesus was a break dancer also, just to make it cool and hip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Jesus broke dance
still
on the
white,
crowd.
though.
Yeah, still very white, blue-eyed, Italian.
I saw on the YouTube video there was a comment. It was like, because when Joe got up to the stairs, he saluted. It was like he was saluting the stairs because that was like a tough opponent. He's just like, so I was laughing so hard.
That's good. I think it's so interesting. He called Kamala president during a press conference recently. He said President
He just
Harris.
confused.
He got it. No, I think because she's the president.
Yeah.
And he might just be like, I got elected, but like she's doing the work. And then he goes behind the scenes and he just eats sandwiches. I don't know.
That's how they make the switch. He just forgets that he won president. And he just thinks he's vice president.
Yep.
And
there you go.
It's just nothing to him. He just doesn't even remember.
He just reads off.
It's always been this way. What are you guys talking about? Come on.
He had a cheat sheet during the one press conference that he did where it had pictures of the journalists and then their names so he could remember their names. And I feel like most presidents probably do that, but it's just funnier with him because you're like, no, he really needs that.
Yeah.
He needs that.
That's hella funny.
That is.
Is it just pictures? There was like words. I just imagine just like a bunch of pictures of him, like what he's supposed to do. He's like wave at this point.
He was. I just saw it from like a journalist doing like a side view, and then it looked like Clue, where it just has all the different pictures and then like little notes next to
Maybe like mnemonics.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not too bad. I thought it was like doodles, like he's just doodling or someone.
I saw another funny headline. St. Louis police officers beat their own undercover police officer at a protest.
Oh my god.
And guess what race he was? It's preposterous.
Oh, no.
Yep.
That's so funny. They just can't stop screwing themselves. They really just can't.
The St. Louis Police
They beat this is even an older story.
This is
just a bunch of white guys
this
just
is
like
so funny.
Just a snake eating itself.
Yeah.
Is the St. Louis Police Department.
That undercover guy must have been going real hard then for them to just pick. Like, what are the chances of like all the protesters? And they're like,
He's the one who does it.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of agent provocateurs before in protest?
That's a lingerie store, is it not?
Agent provocateur.
No, I'm not kidding.
They
It's
put
nice.
on- Really?
It's
Yeah.
nice. Nice
They
stuff.
put people in sexy underwear in
protest,
protests to
and
get
to
them
cause
riled
different-
up.
Different things to happen.
Of course.
No, but yeah. That is what it is. There's like different police stations will use the
Yeah.
tactic of putting under.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Do we have a location in Chicago? I feel like I saw a store pop up.
Yeah, those are nice. I like Ruffles. Those are good. Wow.
Maybe this is just so if you Google agent provocateur, it's this that
it's
comes
a
up
red herring.
instead of. That's what I
Alright.
think about the
Oh,
movie
yeah.
Black Panther and the Black Panthers.
Viagra Triangle has one.
Oh, nice.
You can go today.
Yeah.
Do they do
wow.
curbside
I would've
pickup?
put- yeah. You can call them.
$4
Yeah.
Pricey.
That's a lot of dollar signs for underwear.
Listen. Yeah.
But that's one of those things you have to spend money on.
Well, it's on Oak Street, so.
Wait, go to that first review. I was really surprised to see such negative reviews. Oh, that person just loves it. But they work at Foot Locker? Or is that Foot Locker doing the review?
No, that's from Foot Locker. Right?
Oh yeah, those are sponsored.
Oh, you might also consider Foot Locker. Oh, that's
I also
interesting.
wondered because I started the second review, which is my daughter and I had visited, and that
where
was
you
a
go.
great
That's,
premise.
you know,
is my daughter and I,
a fun family trip.
father-daughter
really. Yeah.
trip to Agent Provocateur.
Someone's birthday. Yeah.
Some people have that kind of open relationship with their parents. Do you guys have like an open, do you tell your parents weird shit, or do you keep everything kind of far away from them?
Depends.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah. As I gotten older, like my parents got divorced when I graduated high school, and I got a lot closer to them that way. 'Cause I
Okay.
think they were just happier, like being on their own and whatnot. So I can talk to them, but I wouldn't be like, "Yo, mom, I fucked this chick last night." Like that'd be super weird. I wouldn't say that.
You got closer with them when they got divorced, though?
Yeah, because I mean,
Interesting.
it just wasn't a good marriage, and like now they're single. My mom dates a lot. My dad travels a lot, so they're just a better person
The road
now.
is,
Yeah,
is his
so,
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Are you more like friendly with them? Like, do you feel like you have a friendship relationship, or is it still like parent-kid?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a little parent. Like, I feel like my dad was never super good at like talking to kids. So now that it's more man to man, I can kind of. He's always like, "Yeah, so what are your taxes?" And we just talk about shit like that. But like I'm a little bit interested. So it's more like that. Yeah.
What about you, Perry?
Yeah, I think as I've gotten older, my parents are still together. Not to brag.
I'm
That
gonna
is
leave.
kind of like
Yeah.
a brag at this
I'm
point.
feeling attacked.
Yeah.
It was really dicey there
Oh, yeah.
in like 2017.
When my parents almost
They
got divorced.
nearly
Yeah, it was a
divorced,
butt.
but then
Saved the
Imagine
sinking
getting
ship.
close at that age. That's a wild ride.
yeah, well, no, I mean, I was 21, and my parents were like, "It's happening," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm officially an adult child of divorce."
Yeah.
But
Do you know what the
They
fight was
reversed
about?
it?
Do you
Yeah.
know what the thing they were like? This is
Definitely.
irreconcilable. What was it?
oh, it was very public. Not like public, but like
they were like a
Like-
public.
Were your parents celebrity? Yeah.
It was
your parents
not-
lawyers?
Have a lover's quarrel.
no. So my dad is an alcoholic, and
Got way sadder.
Yeah,
he
sorry.
couldn't stop drinking.
No, exactly. No, he went through like a 2-year
You gotta
period
stop
of
drinking.
being very out of control.
Okay.
And
2
my-
years. She put it up. She put up with it.
Well, yeah, right, yeah. So, and then, honestly, what it came down to, and I hope they like don't see this because this
They might want to,
it's
Hopefully
a
they
bit,
watch it.
it's a bit,
Derek.
Yeah.
yeah. It's a bit crass, but no. So I think my mom's a financial advisor, was for 30 years, and so money very important, and being responsible with money is very
And
important.
you're not when you're an alcoholic.
When you're an alcoholic, you
spend
don't make
money.
responsible choices.
Go
It
to the
wasn't
bar.
really, and it wasn't really that he was spending money. It was that he was driving while he was drunk, and my mom didn't want,
The money
the
of
car
that,
insurance
yes.
to go up.
The
That's what she
insurance.
was
The
worried
financial
about.
advisor.
A DUI is
Not
very
killing
Like,
expensive.
these progressive rates are crazy.
No, but yeah.
So that's what sort of precipitated the
Okay.
separation.
That's good. Looks like you turned it around though, because that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah, they're together now, and
How's he doing?
How's it-
Did he have like a redemption story, or is he just hanging on?
No, yeah. So he went to rehab officially for
good,
like
good.
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks, and then rehab doesn't work that well. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it's very common to leave rehab and then
Yeah.
be like 2 weeks,
Yes.
like the meme of John Hamm,
like
like
a 7%,
meditating.
yeah.
and then you like absolutely drink again.
Yeah.
So no, but I think he has sort of just.
Is that where they do the 12-step, or is that AA?
that is the same. I don't think he did that all the way though.
Different rehabs do different things.
Oh,
Different, his was, I forget what the philosophy of his was, but basically now he just, I think, scratches the same itch by chewing a lot of nicotine gum. So
I don't know. That's
if anyone out there is
but
struggling, just
try nicotine
hop
gum.
over to nicotine gum.
How many packs does he chew? Like packs of nicotine gum every day?
It's
Does he have
a
a
lot.
serious problem with
It's
nicotine
always,
gum?
I swear, we talk frequently, and
It is because he's all juiced up on nicotine gum. He's got to talk to
He's
somebody.
all
Like-
excited. His pupils are dilated.
well, it's over the phone, so I can't speak to
Yeah.
what his pupils
But
are doing.
it might
But
be, yeah.
but it's very funny. I've just sort of grown used to in the back of our conversations hearing him smacking on nicotine gum and the sound of the pop of, because it comes in like it's like
canister. Or something
yeah, it's like
that,
it's not quite, it's not, a paper piece of gum that you unwrap. So the sound of him sort of popping out a piece of nicotine gum has become sort of.
Is the gum like minty? I always imagine it tastes like a cigarette.
No,
I was
That
like,
would
this
make
is
it if they make
disgusting.
it like a
Super
cigarette.
gross. That's
Like
what I
a
thought.
smoky mezcal.
yeah.
Like you're like,
Straight from the ground.
yeah, just like you like roll it in ash.
Hopefully it's like wintergreen or
I think
something.
it's like mint, but with like an added chemical. Like, you can taste it.
And it gets
You're
you a
like,
little buzz, yeah.
Did you like it when you chewed it?
I like the zins sometimes. I like the
Okay.
buzz of nicotine. I
Okay.
think there are
you-
studies that show it's like a nootropic. It's good for your brain.
Yeah, you're not trying to get off it. You just kind of like the gum, and it's just another way of getting it.
I've stopped doing it now
Hmm.
because whatever's in it like fucks with my stomach a little
There you
bit,
go.
and then it just makes, for some reason, me swell here.
Really?
It makes my
That's
face
not good at
puffier
all.
and fat, and
Yeah.
I'm like, there's some chemical in this that's not
That
good
sounds
for me.
like an allergic reaction.
Probably
Yeah.
a little bit.
I used
Because
to
you're
play,
like swallowing the nicotine spit, and then that's
Yeah,
bad for you.
that's
That
good.
can't be good for you.
I used to play baseball, and a lot of guys did the dip, and I just can't because
Oh, yeah.
it gets like your saliva mixed with it. It's like a puddle.
No.
You know, it just doesn't seem good.
I have it drilled in my head from being in like 7th grade and watching those videos of like don't dip, where a guy got his
missing
jaw
his jaw.
taken
Oh,
off.
yeah.
And it's like that one guy was in all those
Like,
videos.
That's exactly
He's
why
like-
you should dip. That guy looks fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
he's, giving
As a
he's
kid.
giving speeches. What the fuck?
Especially because now he would have like an entire robotic jaw. He'd be like, don't.
So sick.
Like a
Don't-
3D printed.
My life is awesome. Yeah.
My life has greatly
like,
improved
bro,
since I got a
yeah.
cybernetic jaw.
Sick. Let's go, guys.
What if that's what happens, though? Is everyone who has like these horrible conditions are the first people to become robots? And you're actually better off for smoking because then you get like robotic body and
Yeah,
robotic
you know what?
legs.
Cancer isn't that bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucking cool.
Because of my cancer, I now have a robotic
I
heart.
have a robotic testicle.
Yeah.
Just the one. It's got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, fuck yeah, that's awesome. I saw a Harvard school is shutting down their entire evolution department because the teacher had ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Good.
Yeah, you think good? I think that's a
Ties of what sort?
I don't know.
Okay.
All I saw was that they were like, listen, I think they were getting paid by him or that his money funded it. But, or that the teacher who was in charge of it just was like diddling with Jeffrey.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
See,
It seems weird to do like an entire department, though.
Exactly. So then what was going on? But maybe here's what I've heard from the conspiracy chains is that Epstein and other like of these sexual trafficking rings play a role in the science that gets published because they have so many of the scientists under their control that they can influence the data that goes out to the public, and that like can do well for their business interests. So they're like, oh, if we control the flow of information, we control everything, and they use like pedophilia and these other bad things to blackmail these people into doing what they want.
Yeah.
So it could be that the data that they're putting out is all tainted by honeypots.
So, yeah. I heard a conspiracy theory about that Epstein caused COVID.
Oh,
Have you heard that
no,
one?
I haven't heard that one.
No.
It's I don't want to butcher it. It's like because he funded a bunch of like biology studies and whatnot, and then like so he died, and then they think that he maybe had a kill switch, like he had the virus somewhere. If he doesn't go back once every month to his lair and like hit "I'm still alive" button, then like he died, and so then it got released because he died in fucking.
The same time, right?
Like maybe a month
few
or two
months?
before, yeah.
And then it was like a
and then
couple
it got
months.
released. I mean, obviously, it's probably
I want to
bullshit.
say it was like August.
Yeah, so
August
it's somewhere around there. It's like-
2019?
And that's when it was in Wuhan at first.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I remember hearing about it initially in like the end of the year. 2019.
I kind of hope it was him.
Yeah, I think
That
it's
would-
completely possible.
Where did you
Everything's
read this
connected.
fucking thing? I cannot find
That
it.
sounds like a fever dream you
Yeah.
had.
Yeah,
That
bro.
sounds like you.
I'm also probably on a list for Googling it.
Or just like molesting kids was what was keeping COVID away.
That's tough.
yeah.
That's tough.
And so no, he was really our guardian all along, and now that we've turned on him,
Fucking God.
we deserve it. What's happened to us?
There are, like, weirdly enough, there are still people who think, like, rituals and things do protect the world and have an insane, like, I watch Eyes Wide Shut like a documentary sometimes.
Is that the Tom Cruise
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick movie?
Yeah.
I've never
With-
seen it, but I know of it a
They're
little
just
bit.
doing weird, like, sex satanic rituals. And it seems, I don't know why I'm feeling extra conspiratorial this episode, but it
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
like there are just a bunch of pagans in the world who are, like, people who are high up in business who are like, oh no, doing these weird rituals and, like, meditating, but it's like versions of meditation that
Okay.
like put an emphasis on focus and, like, work out for you.
Yeah. I mean, it seems kind of ridiculous, but there's so much I don't know about the world. Like, I don't want to say,
Yeah.
there's no way. That's not true.
Yeah. What do you guys, I said we weren't going to talk about this, but we're led
do
back
it.
to it. What do you guys think the world is? in
That
broad
is such
terms,
a vague...
what do you guys think the, no, like if you, simulation, meaningless
Oh.
thing that just happened, hero's journey created by God so you could learn lessons.
Okay.
If you had to pick, or complete, nihilism.
Okay.
Sucks that there are only 4 things.
That's all
the
that
world
it could be. Simulation,
I've worked it
nothing,
out. There's
nihilistic,
no other way.
hero's journey from God, a little bit of meaning, who really knows?
Yeah.
You get it.
You go ahead, Perry.
Okay. So, listen. I grew up in Christianity, which that sounded bad. No, I
I
was.
grew up in Christianity. It
Well,
sounded
no,
bad.
that
You're like,
comes like-
it was the
that co-
cake.
That comes. Yeah, okay, not
Yeah.
not quite. That's like no. Okay. It just has a lot of like.
Gets a bad
baggage.
rap. I mean,
Right.
yeah,
When you
I grew
when,
up Catholic, though. It was my choice.
right. So okay. So
I like Catholics. Not all of them, but some of them are great.
Yeah.
Some of them
Yeah.
are horrible pedophiles. Some
Some
of
of
them
the-
are very nice and bake pies.
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's there's not just 4 types of.
There's 4 types of Christians: pedophiles, women who bake pies, single dudes, pregnant women.
There you go. That's it. There's no
There you
other
go.
way.
There you go. I'm done talking. That's all. No, but so like, I mean, you get this. Like, if you grow up with religion, like, it's weird to sort of like unbake that from like your brain's sort of matrix. And so, like, whether I want to or not, I feel like there's, like something happened. It's deliberate. I think I will sound kind of dumb when I say this, but I think if I'm anything, I'm sort of like a deist, right?
Okay.
Which is that like something intentional happened, but then everything since then has been sort of like hands off. Like if there is a higher power, he or it or she or, another pronoun that we don't even know stepped away and just sort of let the processes of the world
Okay.
take place.
That would be different from agnostic, as in like...
That's the complete opposite.
Oh, is the
Agnostic's like,
opposite?
I don't know. It's like
Maybe.
Gnostic.
They
They
just
think
like,
there's something,
I
there's some kind of
know.
force.
Yeah, there's a thing.
I don't know, but that's as formal as I will, or that's as
detailed as you can
yeah,
really go
that,
into
yeah,
it,
just and only because I'm just not sure, but I kind of have a feeling.
Do you let that affect your life and have like weird moral judgments about yourself? Where you're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this because of the Lord our God Jesus Christ.
It's
Do you?
exactly,
Or
that's
whatever name he
exactly
goes
what
by,
I call him
or
every time we
whatever.
talk. That's how I address him by his
Yeah.
full name. No, so I kind of think like shit happens and it's out of. It's out of the hands of whatever, whoever the hands even are.
It's out of the hands of the hands.
How
yeah.
many hands they have?
Who's got the hands? They put 'em-
Maybe they
The
use
hand-
their feet. People, like that.
I can pick things up with my feet.
Can you?
Can
Yeah.
you really?
That's a good task. My girlfriend has extremely strong feet because she was a dancer, and it's like
Damn.
it's like hands, and it scares the ever living shit out of me. You ever get grabbed by a foot? It's not fun. It's like the least fun thing you can do. What about you?
Yeah.
What is your take? Complete
Yeah.
nihilism, super god,
man.
simulation, evolution.
Yeah, well, I grew
Yeah.
up. So I grew up in the Bay Area, and like my mom is an atheist, and I don't think my dad gives a shit. Like I've
Okay.
never talked to him about it.
It's a totally different
So
lifestyle.
yeah, I've never
out there.
been. The only times I've been in a church is when I played youth basketball, and then I've been in a museum in a church. So I have no idea what the Bible says.
Oh, really?
I have absolutely no idea. I think his name is
Complete
Jesus
heathen.
Christ. Is that
Yeah.
how you pronounce it? But yeah, so for me, I don't know. I think about it sometimes. Maybe I'm like a little agnostic, but I don't believe in like karma. I think life is just kind of chaotic and random, and I think I like that more than just like I get to choose, or at least I'm in control of somebody. There's not someone watching over me that like has a plan for me. No, guy.
Do you remember being a kid and like asking your parents like, why are we alive? Like, did you ever have an existential crisis where you were like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't think that too much. No. Maybe
You
when
know,
I was
you always
more,
just go, because that's what I imagine. Like, I don't know what to teach my kids exactly, and I feel like they're gonna
Yeah.
come to me at some point like, "What the fuck is happening?
What is
What?
this? Hey, tell
I'm
me,
simply
huh?
alive,"
Come on.
because that's how I felt. And then they were like, "God is the answer to that, and you were
okay.
created, and you have a purpose, and it's to do good and
Yeah.
learn."
Well, I
and
can
I was
see-
like, "Thank you," because I needed that, or else I would have lost my mind.
Well, I can see that being like the benefit of religion. Like life is so chaotic and shitty stuff happens. We'll be like, well, there's someone. As long as you pray, there's someone
Yeah,
looking after
it
you.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Sure,
it's comforting. I
sure.
totally get that.
Yeah, and maybe that's enough to sort of like hold your kids over
Yeah,
until they're adults and they have they're
can
having
figure
sort
it
of the
out.
same like introspective
Yeah.
kind of wonders that we are, and it's like okay, like it was maybe not it was maybe a good idea to keep like their mortality away from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Better than
just for a couple years,
letting them have everything.
And
People
so being
are
at
gonna
7,
fucking
like
die.
when you die, it's over.
Yeah.
And you're gonna cease to exist, and everyone you know is too. And yeah, I think that's a lot for someone who's like sub 10
Yeah.
to deal with.
Right.
What did
Brush
your
your teeth.
parents tell you when people died? Were they just like, they're dead? They're dead now.
They're
Did you go to
fucking dead.
do you remember going to funerals as a kid?
Yeah, I went to my dad's dad, and I didn't know him. It was weird because I saw my dad cry, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
Oh, you didn't even feel any.
No, I didn't know, and it
You
was
didn't
just
feel-
weird
you
to see
don't
my
feel
dad. I've never
sadness.
seen my
Okay.
dad cry, and so like that fucked me up for a little bit. I just thought it was strange, and I guess I was probably like 10.
Okay.
So you kind of understand, like, oh, they're not here anymore, but maybe you don't have the capacity for like emotion-wise to really understand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you remember like when it hit you at all that people were dead and dying?
I think we put our dog down, and I was like, "This is way bigger than Grandpa."
Well,
This is
it meant something to you.
huge.
Sure.
This
You
is
probably didn't spend
huge.
time with your grandpa. So.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
What was it like having to face that death with no God?
The dog, or
yeah, with
the
no
grandpa?
God. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
the dog with no God.
where,
It's a short story.
where did she go?
There
It's
you
a
go.
short story for kids
The
who are
God with no
atheists. And then it's just all about dealing with death on a very realistic and practical level. It'll be like the worms eat the dog, and the dog
or it's
feeds
2 pages.
the
She's like,
fungus.
it's dead, and that's it.
Move on. We'll
Yeah.
get another
Fine.
dog. There are more dogs. You're gonna die too.
Yeah.
I wonder if you taught your kid like that though, what they turn out like. Maybe fine. You seem. People, that's the worry. That's the worry. People always say they're like, if you don't raise people with religion and ethics, they turn out crazy. But
Yeah.
every single person I've met who didn't grow up with religion didn't even think about religion.
Yeah, well,
That's the weirdest thing.
That's
It's
such
like-
a tricky thing to say. You're like, well, you should teach them this and you should teach them that. But kids, there's so many different factors. Like,
Yeah.
you can try your best, but I mean, if they grow up how they grow up, it's kind of.
Yeah. It's fascinating to me of like, in a bubble, would people create a new religion? Or would they just be like, no, this is like, we just act in things?
Yeah. I think maybe not nowadays because things are easier, but like back then when like things were real shitty and like life was pretty much day to day, you want to look for something bigger and better.
Yeah. What would you guys do if you had all of them? Like, let's say you had as much money and power as you could. You had Bezos, you were in the Bezosphere, and someone said you need to create a purpose, something to do with your time. What would your task be? What would you set out to do?
I would shave my head and spend all that money to make, the bald man style accepted in society. So me
Culturally normalized.
because everyone makes fun of him for that big old bald head, and
But you'd make it cool. You'd pay
Yeah,
like other
you have
celebrities to shave their heads.
the influence and the power
Yeah.
to make it.
Hold on. Do people really come for Jeff Bezos' baldness?
I mean, he has other things, but I think that's definitely what I think.
I think it's just that he might be evil. Like, he
Yeah.
might be like an evil dragon.
I think once you have that much power, it just kind of gets to your head. I don't know if can you stop it and be like,
you can't.
yeah. I was like, no, I'm a normal guy. I like to,
That's what Warren Buffett pretends to be, though. Warren Buffett's like,
Just
I'm a normal guy.
I live in Omaha.
Yeah.
My car is,
Yeah.
a
I drink
Hoopty.
V8 and I like dogs.
Exactly.
And I'm a cool guy.
I feel like if you have that much money, though, you just have to be evil because there's people who don't have any money and they die because of it. So if you have that much money and you aren't actively like giving it to someone else, I feel like that's your responsibility.
Yeah, and they just get into that like business mindset.
Yeah.
Like, it's because it's all about money.
That's so strange to me.
What would
But
you
I
do?
wonder though if I was, because I'd probably like, in a nice sense, I'd be like, oh, I'd help people and blah 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 blah. But I would probably try to take over the government. I'd probably go like full on like run for president style, enact like a group of the people I like as leaders.
Just ride a horse.
Try to reform
everywhere.
the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd always be riding a horse.
Definitely the
Yeah.
horse.
Get like a team of horses. Maybe try to domesticate animals that aren't like dogs and cats.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of money in research to domesticate like otters and like different kinds of maybe wolves, different big cats
Yeah.
to normalize big cats
That'd
in
be
the
pretty
house.
cool. Yeah.
So like you got your pick of the litter, literally,
Yeah.
when it came to having pets in your house.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think
I feel like that would cross over into Deep Blue Sea territory. Are we familiar with Deep Blue Sea?
Is
Not
that
at
the
all.
documentary about
Oh,
Is
no,
that
no,
a
no,
Matthew
no, no,
McConaughey
no.
movie where they find
well,
buried treasure?
are
It's,
people fucking the animals in this?
I think Jessica Alba was in that one. Is that
Is that what
where they
Jessica
find buried
Alba?
treasure?
Who are you
They
guys?
find buried treasure.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh, it's for Alzheimer's disease.
it's very...
It
No,
rules.
right. So that's the thing where they start out with a very noble cause. They're trying to figure out Alzheimer's. They accidentally make sharks that are too smart, and then
They
hell
make-
breaks loose.
wait, they
and all
make-
the money in the world cannot make the sharks.
And the Sharks run for office. and
Docile
they want
again.
Voting rights. And they're
Yeah,
trying to
then they
get-
started
Like,
oppressing.
we need to
the
take
other
down
groups.
these sharks there.
And Samuel L. Jackson stars.
I'll watch anything with Sammy J.
How did they become too smart? Like, what did they start
They
playing
inject-
tricks on the scientists? Like,
Wait a second.
Yeah, they sort of do, where they're like, we're gonna act a certain way, and then the scientists will think that we're like asleep, and then they like
Break
Trick
free
them.
somehow. Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel
They
like
do
in
break
that,
free.
like in the late '90s, there were so many shark-related movies. I saw a different one which was like, I think it was kind of the same idea. They just get like super intelligent, and then that's a problem. I mean, just stay out of the water. How smart can you be?
what if sharks were smart?
Yeah, they have wings.
They're like, we need 6 movies about this.
Yeah, it feels like it.
If you guys could pick any animal to be domesticated, what would you pick?
For me, it's definitely a moose.
Oh,
Really?
interesting.
Interesting.
You can't even put that in your house. You'd have to keep it in the backyard. They're
Yeah,
pretty big.
They're large.
Yeah, which is, I'm kind of down with that. I don't know if I would want them in my house, and I don't know if they want to be in my house.
Yeah.
Is the other thing.
Well, but that's the point. You can trick them into wanting to be in your house like a dog.
They're not super intelligent.
Yeah,
like
you can make them, I
sharks.
guess, I'll give you the power to make them small. If you
Ooh,
want.
a little moose.
Yeah.
That's very cute.
And now we're getting to fantasy land. territory.
Hey.
Yeah, that's
No,
just
that's just,
ridiculous.
honestly, with the genetic coding right now, completely realistic.
It's scary.
We can
Yeah.
make tiny mooses that are
so.
like nice and have the personality of dogs. We could put a dog's brain in a moose and make a moose dog size.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, and I feel like that's the
Honestly.
direction we're going in with the
Yeah.
future we have. It's nothing like practical, like saving the world. It's going to be like small moose that is in your house, and you have like a little garden for it that it roams around in. Maybe not though. If you guys, what utopian or dystopian future would you like to live in? If you could pick one of any like book, like Hunger Games, or any of the young adult books, I can't remember them. Did you
Yeah.
guys see any of those movies? Ender's Game,
Yes.
Ready Player One. That'd be a fun
Ready Player One
fantasy
would be
world
cool.
because they're in like Cleveland.
Yeah.
Attainable.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Any like a
Cleveland.
bad area.
That's so
That the
mean.
whole point of that movie is they live in a bad area of Cleveland, I
Yeah.
think, and then they live in like these giant cars.
That'd be cool, but that's where like gaming is getting to. Like you can escape the real world, being
Yeah.
in a virtual world. I think that's dangerous though.
You think so?
Yeah, well, we just it's not real, and then you get stuck in there all the time because you can't make actual connections with people in real life. And I
Yeah.
think so let me tell you,
Here's my virtual reality idea that I hope I can make true one day. It's a gym that you go to, but it's virtual interactive gym, and you create like a Pokemon type monster for yourself that people see at the gym and that you can see yourself. And like the more you train, the more powers you get and the level up you get, and then you fight other people's things in an arena.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
So you like train up this animated thing, and when you look in the mirror, it's what you see, and then you see other people's, and you're like, you got to learn specific moves. So it'd be like a really interactive fighting game. I think that's the future.
Yeah, I would play that. I thought you were saying at first it was like a virtual gym, so you go there, but you're not actually working out, but in the game you are.
No, that would suck.
You're like, this
You're
is
like,
dope.
X.
I'm benching so much.
But if you look at your arms, you have like dinosaur arms.
Yeah, just like,
So it's like
fucking
ripped
jacked.
arms, and then if you like do like this, like flames come out of it.
Yeah.
So you're incentivized
That's
to do
cool.
this.
There's a workout involved.
Yeah, and then you learn jujitsu, and then you fight somebody else's. Like you're like a dragon fighting like a giant hawk creature.
Yeah, I think that could be the future. Tricking people into fitness is always a smart idea.
I think the future isn't virtual reality, but augmented reality.
What's the difference?
So virtual reality would be like you go and you put a headset on, and they would strap you into a treadmill, and they would measure your punches. Augmented reality would be like you go to a giant warehouse, and they're all these different boxes, and everything looks really plain. But then you put on the goggles, and you see like a Call of Duty playing field.
Okay, I feel like they have that, right? Sandbox, or is that
To
what
a
it's called?
degree,
Yeah.
But it would be like paintball, but Call of Duty
So the
glasses
environment
on.
is like World War II or some shit like that.
The first company I think that can effectively do that, I think will be the big winner, because
bet.
people love. That's 1,000 times more fun is like holding a gun and running around and like shooting people than is like being on a treadmill and having like a fake gun and no one actually being around you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you got to like, you could like do like melee
Actually
too to a
move
certain degree. You could
yourself
punch
as
people.
you're-
Yeah. Like literally fighting people, because you could involve wrestling or actual fighting in it depending on how deep you took it. But I think that's the future of video games.
Okay? So, if that were the case,
Yeah.
what happens when you can't really feel like if you're fighting someone who's not there?
No, they would be there.
They would be
It would be
there.
like you're on a team of people, just like paintball, and the other team is on a team of people, and you just when you shoot them, like you would wear like an electric suit,
Yeah.
and it would buzz you, and then you would like die, and you would have to go to the respawn point, and then it would just be like team deathmatch on regular Call of Duty, but it feels real, and it would just be so cost effective because you could just do it in a giant warehouse. I hope somebody steals this idea. I hope there are people right now doing this idea, and you could do it in Detroit too, and all the empty warehouse buildings.
Yeah, that'd be
Detroit
dope.
could be the hub of like
There you go.
Call of Duty interactive land.
I was watching Point Break last night. You guys seen Point Break?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh God, with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze.
Sounds like a great movie already.
It's fucking insane. Yeah.
I've seen the trailer, not the trailer, but just the DVD cover and the poster of Keanu Reeves, just like.
You're like that. Looks like a good movie, but I'm not gonna watch it.
That's how I feel about most movies.
They just
I
do
don't
like extreme stuff. Like, what's the most extreme thing you've ever done?
Oh, in Point Break, like what are you asking?
They do like skydiving and they like surf on huge waves. Yeah. So like, what is the most extreme things you guys have done?
I did ayahuasca. I mean, that's like the drug in
Wow.
Costa Rica.
That's
That's
what I was
pretty
thinking
extreme.
That's
when
a
you were
big one.
saying about your dad and the alcohol. I've heard that ayahuasca helps you get over like any addiction. There's a TV show.
Yes, I think not really though.
No, not so much.
like there are. I saw that thing on Netflix. There's like the Netflix documentary about ayahuasca, and it does help some people. But it's like in the same way that weed helps some people with cancer.
Okay.
Where like, yeah, it in very specific cases, it can really help people, and it's great for very specific diseases or people dealing with very specific mental problems. But calling it like this cure-all thing where you're like, oh, I'm an alcoholic, you go do ayahuasca,
Yeah.
where a lot of people are like, no, ayahuasca cures everything. I don't think it's
Yeah.
that.
It also might be like a mental thing. It's like how you decide. You're like, I'm finally gonna conquer this. now
Exactly.
Because of that.
I think psychedelics are wonderful, but I also think in a way it's like dangerous too, where people are like, oh, they're the cure for everything. You just do psychedelics all the time, and it like doesn't matter how you do them, or just because some people like it's bad for them. Don't do fucking psychedelics.
Did you throw up a lot when you did ayahuasca?
The first time I didn't. The second time I did.
Did it feel better throwing up?
It didn't feel. It feels like throwing up.
Was your entire trip better because you threw up, or was it? because the first time you did
I guess in a way it was because it was like a starting point.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like, all right,
Yeah.
this is a restart button. Now we're doing the
Respawn.
trip.
Yeah, and it was cool just because like. My favorite part about doing ayahuasca was just like getting over the anxiety where people are like, it's going to change you forever. It's going to do all this stuff. And then doing it and being like, oh, okay.
You drink it, right? Or you
Yeah,
smoke it?
you drink
Okay.
it. It's wild. Would you guys ever do anything like that? Or have you done psychedelics and had interesting experiences?
I've never done psychedelics.
Really?
I'm inclined to try mushrooms.
Okay.
Right.
Because I've heard they're really great. And then I have a younger brother who has dabbled more than I have. And he did acid and had an extremely bad trip. And between the three of us, I think it may have changed his brain.
Oh, really?
Really? See, this is why you don't do it.
Yeah.
And he kind of thinks so too.
Oh, no.
So
oh, no.
that has made me wary of acid. But I
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
know that
never
people...
do acid. It was probably research chemical and not
Bad
acid.
advice. No, do acid all the time.
No,
So
okay.
that's the thing.
If you
People-
can, if
people
you
are on
can
different
get
sides.
acid, but he probably didn't have acid. Like I've taken like, if you put the thing on your tongue and there's any flavor to it or it stings at all, it's like people take
Yeah,
fake
it's-
research
yeah, it's not
chemicals
acid.
and they just dip them. All you have to do is dip a chemical on a piece of paper, call it acid. You can sell it to anyone.
Oh
So you
my
want
God.
it
You
to
can get
taste?
free-
No,
or no?
You don't want it to
You
taste.
can get
Oh.
free test kits for your LSD though.
That is true. You should test
should
your
always
acid.
test
This
your
is a
acid. Test your
PSA. Always test your acid.
Always
Always
So
I've
have
said
you
that.
done one of those tabs where it tastes?
Yeah, and you can tell right away, and you're like, this is not a good
Do
thing.
you spit it out, or did you just have a bad trip?
I just went
It's
for
too
it.
late. Yeah, it's already,
too
it's already
late.
in, baby.
It was a bad time.
Buckle up.
You can have a
Cool.
good trip on not acid. though.
True. There are
Yeah.
research chemicals that are fun.
It's
Acid
not-
is
it's
originally
not
a
even
research
about the
chemical.
Look, I'm gonna fucking interrupt this shit right
Yeah, come on in.
It's not about the chemical. It's about your state of mind before you start tripping. You have to be in a good like mushrooms, acid. What is it? DL12 or whatever the fake chemical is. Like all of that stuff. It affects the brain the same way. And if you're in a bad state of mind, if you're around the wrong people, if
Yeah.
your environment is not conducive to a good time, you're not going to have a good time. That's how psychedelics work. It's not about what it is. It's about what you are when you take it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, but there are some of those chemicals that are just bad chemicals.
Well, like
No, I wouldn't say bad
PCP.
chemicals. Yeah.
Like,
Fentanyl,
yeah, well,
they put that in there.
For sure.
And like there's so many. There's like 2CB, 2CI, 2CIB. They like took they take molecules and then they changed like little bits of them to get around legalization.
All right.
And some of them, it's like going down random pathways and being like, oh, we don't know what this one does, but it's similar to this chemical.
Yeah, so we'll just see. We'll
Exactly.
do it
And then there's people buying loads of it on the internet, and the internet's a wild place. Have you guys ever been on the dark web?
and see. No, heard of
No.
it though.
It's interesting. It's a wild world.
How do you get on? Do you just Google dark web?
There, you have to download a specific browser, and
Use
then
Bing.
yeah,
That's how you get
it's
to
pretty
the
much
dark
just
web.
Bing.
Bing's the way.
Bing will take you to the dark. I bet you if you Bing, how do you get on dark web? No, there used to be a Vice article that explained perfectly how to do it. But
Yeah.
you just download a Tor browser, and then you protect your computer so nobody can see it, like a VPN, and then you can just go anywhere.
Just do whatever you want.
It's creepy. It is creepy. You can
buy
buy
whatever.
Yes,
right?
whoever. That's the weirdest part.
Even
Just
better.
guns and drugs. And it's like scrolling through Amazon, but it's like guns, drugs.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
A heart.
You're price shopping.
Yeah. Is this someone's dreams? It just is dreams.
There are reviews for them too. So
Oh,
they're
really?
like
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
There's like top selling drug dealers on there where you're like, this guy's the real deal. This
So
guy
his
is 1,000
heroin?
5-star reviews.
Wow.
Exactly though.
Yeah.
It's people who are like addicted to it, so they're very passionate about it. So they're like, beautiful, beautiful heroin.
Well, I love Amazon, the reviews, so
Yeah.
I'm interested.
What about like animals? Is that also?
Yeah, right?
Exotic animals.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
sure that's the place to
Can
go.
you like shop for tigers?
But shipping is probably difficult.
That's what I was thinking, how they get it to you. They got to put it in like a
Yeah.
non-conspicuous. It's like a...
Yeah.
No, it's a bathtub. It's
Yeah.
making noises inside the box. It doesn't seem like a
It's
bathtub.
a bathtub.
Well,
A
yeah, I don't
clawfoot
think.
tub.
But maybe it's just for like networking for buying exotic animals. Maybe then you got to get some guy's phone number, and then
Yeah.
there's probably like a whole process
you go
involved.
There.
Yeah,
It sounds so convenient. anymore.
it
I
sounds.
was thinking about it, but now this whole...
I don't think. I think. Yeah, if I had the choice, I think I'd have a tiger.
I don't know. They're pretty dangerous. I feel like
You
even
think so?
even those, who are those famous tiger
Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah, he
But
bit his face off.
Their
right?
whole shit was messing with the tigers. That was their entire act.
it
was
was
just fucking with
It was
tigers.
a punk ass tiger. He
Yeah,
had it coming to him.
exactly. But then he finally got him back. I would be nice to him. Mike
Tucked him
Tyson's
back.
nice to his tigers,
That's
and it
true.
seems
He
like they
could
treat him
probably
well.
kick the shit out of the tigers if he wanted to.
I wonder if one punch would be enough to knock it out.
Probably.
You think so? You think he has the power to?
I don't think so. Mike Tyson also likes pigeons. He's like obsessed with pigeons.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had an interview
like,
with the
kith
Migos,
thing,
and he was
right?
like, "Yeah, it's like these are my pigeons. So I love these pigeons."
I wonder if that's like a brain injury thing. Because Nikolai Tesla loved pigeon too. I wonder if like
Oh, now I'm
there's a
seeing
certain kind of
correlation.
brain injury where
And
you're just
Forrest
like,
Gump, they all loved pigeons.
there's like you're just like I love birds. I don't know
Birds
why.
are
but-
nice.
Yeah.
People, not so
I
much.
can't deal with them, but birds.
Birds and worms.
Like a certain area of the brain is associated with bird love.
I could see it. Yeah, yeah. Scientists have finally triangulated.
If you get hit
Bird
here,
love.
your bird love center gets
Bird
turned
love,
on,
yeah.
and you're gonna suddenly love
Yeah.
pigeons and ravens. I feel like those are the best two of the birds.
Yeah.
If you here's a question I've thought of before. If instead of sleeping at night, you could turn into a bird and you would fly around for 8 hours and you would get the regular, like it would feel like you've slept, but you don't get the joy of sleeping and like relaxing. You have to fly around as a bird, but you get to fly around as a bird. Would you do that?
Only at night.
Mm-hmm. You could pick any 8 hours. As you sleep, you'd sleep, and instead of dreaming and relaxing, you would be a bird.
This is such a strange question.
I think I would do that.
You
think
think you'd
so.
do it?
Yeah, well, no, because I mean, you know, for years, my favorite part of being in an airplane is that time when you're between 30,000 feet in the ground because
And you're going down?
up or down.
Oh.
But
Interesting. That's
Yeah,
my least.
looking
That's
out the
everyone's
window, though.
least favorite
Oh,
part. Usually, I feel
love-
like the ears popping.
well, I mean, yeah, like there are parts of it that are not
Yeah.
enjoyable. Like you know, it feels better to cruise probably physically, but what's very cool is you can look out the window
Yeah.
and you're flying at like 1,000 feet, and so you can see things on the ground pretty well, and it's like you're flying over like a miniature town. And you know, obviously it's not safe, but I think it'd be so cool to fly at that height the whole flight. To look down and be like, oh my God, you know, that's like when you take off from RDU and Raleigh, you fly over a quarry. There's like a granite quarry that's near the airport, and you can sort of look down into that, and it's cool looking because it's a quarry from above.
Have you guys ever been to a quarry, spent time hanging out? I've only heard of them in books and movies, and they always just sound scary.
And you
It sounds
swim
like a
in
place to
them.
meet.
Like that's where like the kids who
Swimming in the
who,
quarry.
like drink in high school.
Oh.
They go
The
swimming.
rascals.
Yeah, it
The
sounds like the
rascals.
beginning of
The
every
ne'er-do-wells.
documentary starts at a quarry.
Yeah.
Like every bad
There they
documentary
were.
at the quarry. 3 boys.
The quarterbacks of the high school team were all hanging out at the
All of
quarry.
them.
and they
The
were-
three
Every
quarterbacks
single
from the local.
quarterback.
They were having their
in the
quarterbacks
They were
club
brutally
meeting.
murdered, yeah. And the chopped up liver was,
Found in the quarry.
yeah.
Yet again, another reason we should shut down the quarry.
Well, I was thinking, I feel like back in the old days, because I've watched like a lot of serial killer documentaries. Like I watched Night Stalker and the one with Ted Bundy. I feel like it'd be so easy to kill someone like 30 years ago.
Yes.
Now I would never do it. Like I searched up, are there bank robberies nowadays? And there's some, but there's not a lot because like you're not gonna get away.
There are ways. I've thought about this as well.
This is why I gathered you here. This is a heist.
Yes, they always get people because they just carry their cell phones and it's cell phone pings.
And they just ping it. Okay.
Everybody's like, people forget that they're always being tracked 24/7. So, and it's like when you pass by different Wi-Fi hotspots, you would just, if you were technologically savvy, you could get away with it just like it was 30 or 40 years ago. We're still really bad at solving
Or
murders.
just leave your cell phone
Exactly.
5 miles away.
And
in
then
the
know
dumpster.
all of the Wi-Fi spots in the different areas, and like you would have to have a certain amount of alibis. I think it would be fun if like they do it for the TSA as they hire people to bring bad items through the airport
Sure.
to check on them to see if they're doing a good job. I think it'd be fun for people to do that, but they set up murders and they
Right.
try to get like
See
the
if they can solve it.
Yeah. they're like, oh, he didn't have a cell phone. He tried to cover it up. Can you solve it? That'd be a fun TV show. I'd watch that
Good
instead of
right there.
NCIS,
Yeah.
like a real life
Would-
reality.
Reality.
Would a murder have to take place? Like, would someone actually
Oh, absolutely.
be dead,
yeah.
or just
it has
like
to be real.
Well, you would just make them go missing, maybe tell their
Sure.
family, and you'd have somebody who's either You could find a person who could like just go missing for 2 weeks.
But you always find out they were actually murdered at the end. That's an important part. That's the hook of the show.
It's like we accidentally killed them.
But this is to protect America. So this is making the TSA stronger.
One death.
Yeah.
What if you then could sign up for like it's a lottery-based system where they pay you $100,000, but at any time you could get murdered. Mm-hmm. You're like, are you willing to risk your life for
100%?
Yeah. Maybe it would be more money though.
Dark, but I think a lot of people. There are people out there who would volunteer to be the murdered one.
For money or volunteer for the heck of it.
Sadness.
Yeah, just out of sadness, like.
But
you know.
I mean, would you? But that would also
murder you? That would make your life a lot better. I feel like that already is a movie for sure. Where you sign up, that 100% is a movie or short film where you like sign up to be killed, but then because the clock is ticking on you being killed, you finally find joy in life,
serenity.
I
want to live.
But maybe that is the solution.
Yeah,
I've thought about that. Making the world more dangerous is the secret to happiness. Is that people really need stress and challenge in their life?
Yeah. I read this thing where like people who jump off the Golden Gate Bridge, some of them survived, and halfway down they were like, "What am I even sad about? Like the things I was going to kill myself for."
How do they? Yeah,
and
who
then
knows
they
that?
splat, yeah,
they don't know that.
Yeah, no, the helicopter's interviewing them on their way down. Like, wow, what did you think? Oh,
they're texting on their way down. They're like, "I fucked
Mom,
up.
real quick, I forgive you," and then they die.
That would be fun though if you were gonna go that way to bring a cell phone to really get your last words down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To like I'd be like I want to know what I'd want to say. Or just like you have it under your goal,
like
you're falling
17
down.
seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, I misspelled. Oh, shit. Autocorrect.
You'd have to do a voice memo, but you could just go down and finally just be like, here is, here's my final words.
Do you think that? Okay, another sort of like hypothetical. So, if you're jumping off a bridge, if you're jumping to your presumed death,
yeah.
Do you feel like you have the same reaction that you do like when the roller coaster is like cresting the hill and then doing the free, where you like
the excitement,
you like scream,
so
or
as you're falling, you're going up the roller coaster, and then.
No. So it's
falling,
okay. You know how like
part.
it's like tick, 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 and you're going up, and then when you crest the hill and you go over, like you react how you're gonna react to like the feeling of being kind of in free fall, and it's like, do you think that you have the same response when you're when you're plummeting?
I wonder.
Like, do you scream or are you silent? Right? Like
you put your hands.
You put your hands up.
Speaking of Netflix documentaries, I watched the Netflix documentary about people who've almost died and what it's like to almost die. But it seems like it's nice. From everybody I've heard, they're like, you know what? It's a great thing. And maybe this is the bad part. Maybe life is like the.
That's a horrible way of looking at it, but yeah, I get where you're coming at.
Yeah.
Well, did a life flash before their eyes? Is that
no, they had like out of body experiences, or they like flatlined and then they like went to someplace else. But I don't know. It's entirely. I like to think that this reality is only a small fraction of reality, and that there's so much more out there, and that this isn't like people are like, oh, when you die, it's over, or like there's an afterlife. But maybe this is just like a sliver of life. And then once you're not in a body anymore, you can do other stuff. But who knows? Who fucking knows?
Okay.
Have you guys almost died before? Has anyone come close?
I had amnesia once.
Ooh.
And then I like thought it was like being dead because I didn't have an identity, and it was nice.
What gave you the amnesia?
Yeah, did you fall?
I fell off a bike. I was riding my bike and there was a light up ahead and it was it was like about to go. So I started speeding up, and when I sped up on my bike, my chain slipped and I flipped over forwards and hit my forehead.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Was it like you had just amnesia that one time, or it was periodically just for a couple months?
I had it for like 30 minutes afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. So I was just, it wasn't that long.
But still, you're like a blank slate. You're like...
Yeah, for a little bit. I thought I was I was like, I'm in my mid-20s. I'm like, I was 14 at the time. I'm like, I probably have a job and things to worry about. My dad was over me, but I just couldn't, I didn't register as him as my dad. But I'm like, that I know that guy. Yeah. And the paramedics were like, what year is it? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me what year it is.
Yeah.
They're like, who's the president? I'm like, I don't know who the president is.
That's kind of cool.
But it was relaxed. It was like a very relaxing moment.
Have you ever seen Memento?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's like that. It's like it's by Christopher Nolan. It's this guy. So the movie starts in reverse. It starts at the end. This guy has short-term memory loss. So it starts at the end, then it goes all the way back to the beginning. So it's like you also have short-term memory loss. Like you haven't been shown the scene that goes before.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like he leaves tattoos all over his body to remind him, because he's trying to find the guy that killed his wife.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Does he find him? He's got to.
I don't know.
Does he
I
kill
don't-
him? You haven't seen the movie?
I can't remember.
I actually can't either. Now that I think about it. Yeah.
That's
It's a
great.
good ass movie. But I was in a car crash once. We were driving to EDC
What
when I was like
is
19. It's Electric
Daisy
Dance.
Carnival.
Yeah, that one.
It's very
What?
San Francisco of you.
Yeah. It's like you drive to Vegas. It's like a giant rave.
Okay.
and, you know,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Nice.
And then we were going, and then we were driving overnight, and I was tired, so I let my friend drive the car, and I fell asleep, and I woke up, and we were rolling.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so we rolled into a ditch, and I woke up, and we were upside down, so like I'd just woken up, so I don't know what's happening, so like I unclicked my seatbelt. We had a friend in the back who didn't have a seatbelt on, so she got tossed around the car.
Was she okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's fucking dead.
This is the death story.
Yeah.
She is dead.
No, then I got out, and my friend was like crying. He was like, "I'm so sorry," and like the car was upside down.
Everybody was fine though.
Yeah, I
Immediately.
have like the tiniest scar right here, and that's all that happened to me.
The Electric
She got
Daisy
bruised
gods
up,
were-
but like because he I guess was looking at the map and just kind of lost control. But if he had hit a car straight on, she would have gone through the windshield.
Sure.
So it's like something that's like fuck, what could have happened? But we all like I just have the tiniest scratch. They're totally fine. So it's like got super lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you make it to EDC?
we totally did. Yeah.
You continued
We had,
on.
yeah, so my car got totaled, and so we were just stuck in some like town is like Tatuca or some shit like that. And then a friend was coming, and so he picked us up, and we went. And like the first day, I was like, I'm just gonna chill at the hotel. They're like, no, don't be a fucking pussy.
You made it here, man.
I hadn't slept
Your
in like
life-
36 hours. I was like, I really don't want to go. So we went. And I did ecstasy, and I was like hella tired trying to dance. I was like, I kind of feel good, but I also don't.
Was it
at all.
not fun then?
The first night was horrible.
Oh man. Sad on Molly. Like
Yeah.
you can't even fight through the chemical. Like the
You
chemicals
almost
like
died.
feel
She's
good.
like, shut up, feel the beat.
I've always I've never rolled in a car, like, God, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But so I've always wondered if it hurts while it's happening, the rolling.
It all happened so quick because I like woke up out of
Sure.
sleep. But yeah, not so much because I had my seatbelt on, but the chick in the back was like kind of bruised up.
Were you
'cause
watching her tumble?
No,
Do you have any
because it was
visuals
just so
of it?
quick. Like I
Okay,
don't even
no
know what
visuals,
to
yeah.
do. Yeah, I was kind of when I came to, I was upside down. So I was like, oh fuck, okay, where am I? Where are we? So it was like that. So it was just something that just happened so quick. It's hard to remember specific details about it, but yeah, I think I was okay because you'd think you would smash your head and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
airbags didn't go off. I was like,
Oh my god.
that's not good.
What kind of car was it?
Toyota Matrix.
That's why.
04
Not-
baby.
Yep, an 04 Matrix.
That's the exact car that doesn't the airbag.
Just flipping through the air like the Matrix.
My dad took him out, and he was like, you don't need these. These are for pussies.
Did you have did it make you change your life a little bit? Because I'm sure on the way to
Not
Electric
even-
Daisy closing,
yeah.
you're like, we're gonna fucking party, and then you're like, I might die.
Yeah, listen, guys, a little bit. It was kind of strange because like when we rolled and then we were at the hospital, and my mom just randomly called me. She's like, "Is everything okay?" I just like, I don't feel good. I was like, "No, we
Oh.
actually crashed," and she always talk about that. She's like, "I just had a feeling."
Oh, weird.
Yeah, like a mom's intuition or something.
Did it make you then?
I was like, Mom, shut the fuck up. I'm going to EDC. Stop calling me. I told you to leave me alone. Stay out of my room. And then I hung up.
Oh, cool,
Fuck you, Mom.
Nice.
Yeah.
You used to be cool.
Yeah, you don't get it. Life's a ride.
How did you get back?
I think we just had another people because we had a bunch of different friends going, and so like we just hitched a ride with someone. Yeah, it was a good time though.
Were you
Nice.
nervous to get into a car again?
No, I think we were like, let's roll.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the same friend that crashed drove us back.
How
I was
old-
like, let's do it, baby.
How old were you?
I was 19.
See, that's a different type of life, though,
Yes.
where you're just
You're
like.
I just want to get party.
did you guys find that you were more confident at a younger age in your life? Like, did you have a peak confidence age where you just didn't, you knew a little bit, but you didn't know that much, but you were just like, I fucking got it.
Not in general. I wouldn't say confidence in like myself. Maybe in just like doing life things. Just like let's go on that trip, but
Mhm.
not like as a confident person.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, just maybe feeling like I knew more than,
Yeah,
which that's pretty
cockiness or something.
common.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty common. But I definitely, I feel like self-confidence has been sort of like a gradual, like
Yeah.
that's been a
Absolutely.
runway.
It
Yeah.
takes time.
Yeah.
I've had like mine's way up and down. Like
Oh, it
I
comes
had
in
like
waves.
because like I there's this psychological phenomenon that I like where when you're just learning about something, you think you're an expert in it up until a certain point, and then you realize you know nothing.
Okay.
Like that's what happened to me in my life where I'm like,
Dunning-Kruger.
yes, Dunning-Kruger. where I'm like, I'm a genius. I know all of this. I'm fascinating. And then I was like, oh no, I know absolutely nothing. And now I'm like, I think I know a little bit. Okay. And then it's like a slow build back up, and I see like my 17-year-old bravado, and I'm like, oh, how interesting.
Right.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. That's kind of an interesting.
Yeah, Dunning-Kruger.
I know it's so funny. I was just talking with a friend about this because we were talking about how there are people who like they know like one fact and then they're like, I'm an expert on this fact, and then there's like there's like a huge, but then they stop there, and so they remain on like the plane of I'm an expert, and then
most people do that with everything, and then they're like, I'm an expert at everything, and it's like, no, you just know a little bit about a lot of things. I have a friend that's
like that. I was like, how could you possibly know about like rocket science and dog breeds?
This is how.
Yeah.
Show him this and be like, this is you.
I think they're full of shit, but I don't know enough about anything to really call them on it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, I feel like that is a great place to wrap this up. Here we are again, another episode of the Avery Hutto Show. Yeah, let's clap it out.
Cool.
Let's clap it out. Why don't you let the people know where to find you?
Sure. Let's see. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. And I'm on Facebook. I think that's it.
Perry Carter?
Perry West Carter. That's
West.
my middle name.
Kanye West. It's a reference to him.
It is.
Perry Kanye West Carter.
I won't even. No. But yeah. Let's see. I tweet not a lot. I Instagram not a lot. I Facebook a ton.
It's all about the book.
It is.
You can find me at 640 West Briar Place. That is my home address.
That's probably your real address.
I'll be there with boxing gloves
I bet
if
that's
you want
your real
to
address.
fight me to the death. But Aaron Klein, my Instagram is Aaron Klein 88, and Facebook I think is Aaron Klein. Those are the only ones I use.
Fuck yeah. All right. See you later, people. Have a good one.